helfen. Yeah, he asked in the beginning of the Maimer, it says that Atzilus Nikra Adam. Really, that comes by Hemshech Lazed, that he wants to explain. There's two Pchinas in the Shamas. There's the Shamas which are Zera Adam, the Shamas the Atzilus, and the Shamas which are Pchinas Ban, Pchinas Evet. Ben and Evet. So in order to explain what's these two Pchinas of the Shamas and what's to which each Aveda reaches, Lamaila, which in Elokus is Gala, at the end of the day, it's offered in the gear for the Kavan of Dirba Tachtenim, to have sign the Shabbos which are Pchinas Ben, sign the Shabbos which are Pchinas Evet. He speaks different pratim later, but the Nukud is, so he's marked him here that Atzilus is Nikra Adam, Zera Adam, Adam Hashem Adam Le'elim. So what's the Uftav Adam Adam Le'elim? And Atzilus, as they in Pashtus, we understand that what's in Nizgal in Atzilus, Elokus, the Elokus is Nizgal through Esesphiris. So Elokus is Nizgal in Gvul. But the Ein of Elokus is not Nizgal in Atzilus. Then Zok in Atzilus, Adam Le'elim, that Atzilus is Doime, it's a Gilei Helen from Elokus, which is higher than Atzilus. That's what he says in the... So that means that Atzilus is not just through the Eres and Mislapshin Bekalim, there's a Gilei Elokus, the Elokus relates to the Tzir of Eres Bekalim. But through Atzilus, there's this galus of Eres Yonim, the Eres, the Pshittis of Elokus, the way the Eibusher is higher than Tzir of Esesphiris. It's Pchinasasim. And Le'idach, we find that Atzilus is called Eshma'im. The Fakir, the Yachas, if you say that Atzilus is Gilei Helam, that the Parshas Havana means, that Sazam is Cert Ein Sof, which has some relation, which is able to express itself through the in of Chochmah and Chesed and Gvura and Tiferes. Means the in of Tzir, or at the end of the Hemshech Advarim, the Aveda through Avayira and through Asagas Vizbarnus Elokus, you're able to reach. And through them it's able to be Nizgale Elokus, the way Elokus is the Ein Sof Elokus. That means that it's such a darga of Ein Sof, which the Gabi, that darga, Hasaga and Hizbarnus is not garnished. It has some value. If through Hasaga and Hizbarnus, through Chabad v'Chagas, the Ein Zadam Elyon, the Pshittas of Elokus is Galda means that have some Yachas. Le'idach we're saying that the Gabi Ein Sof, the Eivish is Lav Mikol Inem Midasiyu Klal. The Gabi Ein Sof, Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin Mamish, Be'ed Narech Klal, V'Chochma Ma'ayin Timatzeh. So first he brings it, there's different, the Gabi Ak, the Gabi Er. What's the Riches that is Meirich to Mevar till now? That the Riches that he explains is that there is Be'etzim two inyanim there. Since the where does the is Gilei HaMakir? And the ultimate Gilei HaMakir is that L'mayla begins from the Dargi V'chelis L'Er. And this Dargi V'chelis is not a Darga which relates to Dafke. Where initiates is an Atzmas himself, Hu Shmei Shmeihu. And which is Gilei HaMakir. Where does it originate? This state of Gilei HaMakir, where does it originate? In the Dargi V'chelis. So the Dargi, it's the Yechelis, which is Bizgalus. The Makra is in the Darga where the Atzmos is Yachal Lahir. Atzmos Yachal Lahir, and that's what's Bizgalus through Er. And Atzmos is Yachal, this Atzmos is Yachal Lahir is also Yachal Shalei Lahir. The same Etzem, which is Mizgale, is beyond Gilui. And it's not only beyond Gilui, but it's an Etzem which can be Mechaber Gilui and beyond Gilui. Can be Mechaber Helam and Gilui. He's not defined at all. That Etzem, which is the Makar of Er, so to speak, where the Er begins, Er is the Izgalus HaMakar. What's the ultimate Izgalus HaMakar? Where does the Er initiate? In the Dargi V'chelis HaAtzmos. It's an Atzmos Mamish. Atzmos Imuhusi, he says. The Er that we call Atzmos HaMar Mamish. And Atzmos HaMar Mamish is Sai Yachal Lahir, Sai Yachal Shlei Lahir. The Mele, you have an Er, Sai the Tnuah of Ein Sof. And you also have an the fact that, and that brings out the Yechelis Lahir Shabbatzmos, that the Mitzad Atzmos, there's, it can be mispashet ad Ein Sof obligable. And the Musig of Tzimtzum brings out, which is also really, according to the explains here, a part of art and Nizgala through there, that Etzem is beyond Gilui. So came into the fact that Etzem is beyond Gilui that came into expression. And then there is the fact that the Etzem is not Mitzuyir. In what type of Gilui? It's not Mitzuyir in any Gdarim. And Mitzad Yechelis HaEtzem, the which is Bli Gvul, could be Nislabish in Gvul. And could be Nizgala through Gvul. That's what he brings the three in Yanim. There's the Etzem, Mitzad Atzem is Ein Sof, is Bli Gvul. But is Gilei HaMakir. The Makir is on one hand Ein Sof. Le'idach, he's not limited to be Dafka in the form of Ein Sof. He's beyond saying that he's a tzir of Bli Gvul, a tzir of Ein Sof. B'meil is Yachal Shalei Lahir, is beyond Gilui. And mitzad the fact that is the Gilei HaMakers, you have in there not only the Tnu of Bli Gvul, but the is miyached the Helam and the Gilei. That's the Nukud of Kav, that mitzad that the Bli Gvul is a Slavish Nesesfiris. There's a Chibur of Bli Gvul and Gvul. Yeah, Chodesh Ibrachaz in the Prate Advarim, I don't know exactly, but that's made from Klal L'Inyan. So the way is Mevar here, so the Fizeh, both Nekudas are emes. Mitzad Echad, I mean, everything is true. We're saying on one hand, when we say that the Chedes, that the Kav, if you say Gata say that Av is Eira Gvul, that means the Kav be'etzim is Gvul. So then it's not something to do with Eir itself. Nothing to do with it doesn't express. Eir is Gilei HaMakir. Eir is Gilei HaMakir. So we're saying that the truth is the fact that Atzilis that there's Eir Kav is not because through Tzimtzum the Eir is not limited, and because the Eir is limited, it's Shaychus the Kelim. The truth, the fact is Eir Kav is be'etzim, it's the Eibusher ain't safe, and is Azai ain't safe mitzad the Mitzias of Gvul itself. Gvul itself is not in the Smakam at all. The Eibusher ain't safe, and mitzad the Eibusher himself, there's only him. There's no Mitzias of Sfiris, no Mitzias of Tzir, no Mitzias of Gvul. There's no Mitzias. There's only him. And how is that expressed? The fact that it's only him. That there's the Eibusher and he's ain't safe. There's nothing besides him. Le'idach, the fact that if there's only him, so he's limited that he can't be Nizgal in Gvul. From the point of view of Gvul, Gvul has no Yachas to the Eibusher. So the first initial Gilui L'Kus, there's only him. The Eibusher ain't safe. Le'idach, if he wants, he's able to be Nizlabish in Gvul too. If he wants, this Eir ain't safe. This Eibusher, which is beyond all definitions, could also be Nizgala within definitions, within Gvul. Because he's not limited. But not because the musig of definitions has a yachas then, because the Eibusher is not limited. So mitzad echad we're saying the Eir says that Gvul has no nesina smakam at all. From the point of view of say mitzad not mitzad the Eibusher's ratzin, Gvul is nothing. There's only him. Mitzad he wants, so he's able to be in Gvul too. It's a different Indian. So on one hand, what's Nergish Natzilus? Nergish Natzilus is that Atzilus is yesh ma'ayin mamish. That Chachma and Gvul, the guy with the Eibusher is bli Gvul, has no nesina smakam at all. The guy with the Eibusher himself, there's no mitzias and no tzir. The Eibusher is ain't safe. We say Gilei Helim. If he wants, he's able to be. There's no definition. He's able to be Nizgal through Gvul. The Bli Gvul is able to be Nizlabish in Gvul, and that's the Nekudah of Adam Elel. We need both Nekudas, both in Yon. There's the Nekudas HaBli Gvul of Elikus, and Ava Bikain. If Oliver Tzene, there's the Eir, the way the Eir is Nizgal in Kelim through Helim, whatever the Verstehen had the Chibur of the Lahar and Shalei Lahar, but it's the Chibur. Means it's the Eir, the way the Eir is connected with Kelim. It's not Bli Gvul the way the Bli Gvul is mufshit from Gvul. It's the Bli Gvul the way the Bli Gvul is the way the Gvul is connected to Bli Gvul. The Lahar and Shlei Lahar together, the Helam and the Gilui together. It's a different. That's basically Klali the Union. I'm saying is in the Ershel Lifnei, this we can speak about later really. In the Ershel Lifnei at Tzimtzum, when you say the Ershel Lifnei at Tzimtzum, there's the Eir Mitzad Atzmi is ain't safe, and Mitzad Olibert Tzeinei, there's the Chelis Reses Firis. In the Ershel Lifnei at Tzimtzum, it's all one Inyan. It's not separate in none. There's one Eir, and what's the Pshat Eir? Eir is the Izgalus HaMakir, Izgalus HaEtzim, and the Etzim is not mukbal in anything. So Mitzad Atzmi, how is that Nizgala? The Mitzad Atzmi is Bli Gvul, and if Olibert Tzeinei, there could be felt. It's all one Eir. The way it's Nizgala L'achar at Tzimtzum, it's Nizgala in two Tnuas, in two Kavim. On one hand, it's Nergish the Eibusher is ein arech l'cha. Everything's Bli Gvul to him. The Eibusher is ain't safe, and there's only him, and there's no mitzias. Bittul mitzias, there's only him. Le'idach, there's another pchina. L'achar was another pchina. That's the Eir HaKav, where there was is Meir Darton. If it wouldn't be Meir the ain't safe, then it's another Indian saying. On one hand, it's Nergish be'etzem the Eibusher. Everything's ein arech l'cha. And everything has no erech at all. It's nirgash the Eir HaBli Gvul. It's nirgash the Amitis HaBli Gvul in Atzilus. And Ava Bikain, there's the Eir can be mislabish and mischaber with Kelim. Because the fact that the Eibusher is not mugbal, there could also be the union of Eiris Bikelim. And the guy with that, it's Gilei Helim. Atzilus Lepeil is Gvul. But it's nirgash there that Legabi Bli Gvul is a Siyash Ma'ayin Mamish. That's nirgash in Atzilus. There's also before the Hachodesh had what's means to there? Yeah, so the kav is megala the kecha bligvol there. Lifnei tzimtzum is all one Indian. Lifnei tzimtzum is not nirgesh that it's two separate pchinas. Lifnei tzimtzum, it's one air. What's Amitis Ein Sof? Amitis Ein Sof is that mitzad atzmai there's no mitzias, but if he wants, there's mitzias. How does Eir Ein Sof look? Eir which in Yon is Gilei Amakir. The Makir is not Gvul and not Bligvul. So it's one Indian which is not Mugbul and Bligvul, could also be Gvul. It's one Indian Lifnei Tzimtzum. L'achar Tzimtzum says Gal has two separate Inyanim. There's an Akudah of Bligvul. I mean, so that Akudah everything's Bein Arech. And there's an Akudah of the air together with Kalim. The Bligvul and Gvul, not the air together with Kalim. The air in Tzir.
So the answer to the question is that everything, when we say Yesh Me'ayin and Gilei Helam, we mean L'achar Tzimtzum.
That's for sure. But it's Gilei Helam L'gavi Lifnei Tzimtzum. That it's Adam L'Elam L'gavi Lifnei Tzimtzum. So a Kav is Megale the Keche B'Gvul. But the L'gavi the Bligvul, the Gavi the air of Bligvul, it's Bein Arech.
Yeah, I'm saying that's why it's not.
We're just going to learn later. He's going to bring. I'm saying, Kav is Megala the Keche B'Gvul, and what's Megala the Bligvul mitzad atzmi? The fact that mitzad atzmi is Bligvul. How does that Nizgala? Through the Eira Seiv of L'achar Tzimtzum. And the Gabi that Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin.
The Bligvul part comes in the way of Seiv.
Yeah. That's Negesh. Everything's Yesh Ma'ayin.
The Kav Gufa, that's just the way. Just the Gvul part, or both side of Gvul and side of Bligvul.
I'm saying is the Eir Ein Sof, it's Meir. This Nekuda that the Kav, the Chochma is Ma'ayin Timotzi, that the Kav is a Yesh, has no Erech at all. The Gabi Lifnei. That's not only that the Eir is saying that. That's what's Negesh Natzilus. Is Atzilus in a Richte Tzmaker? Is it a new phenomena, or Atzilus is an extension? So there's two aspects in Atzilus. Mitzad Keiche B'Gvul, Kav is a Hemshech. That's mitzad keiche b'gvul. But be'etzem, with not mitzad keiche b'gvul, mitzad the erech of gvul tein sof, kav is yesh ma'ayin mamish. Mitzad keiche b'gvul he's Adam Le'el.
That's Nirgesh and Atzilus.
Yeah, that's Atzilus. Atzilus is the Zgalus of the way it's Zgal in a tzir gomer.
So what does Alei Saratzim mean? Alei Saratzim is even before Tzimtzum.
Yeah, verstehe. But that's it.
So you're saying if it's the same thing, if it's the same thing Nirgesh and Atzilus, it's only because of it's Keche B'Gvul or whatever. So then what is Alei Saratzim Lefnei Tzimtzum?
Verstehe nicht, was du sagst.
What's the meaning of Alei Saratzim Lefnei Tzimtzum?
That's in the Eir Gufa. Everything's Lifnei Tzimtzum. I don't understand the shayla.
So you're saying in Pel, it's the Indian word of Alei Saratzim is Gala. That's the whole Indian.
Yeah. The Keiche B'Gvul. The way this Lifnei Tzimtzum is that it's one Eir. Achar Tzimtzum, there's no gather of Gvul Lifnei Tzimtzum. Lifnei Tzimtzum. Okay, we'll see the Pratim, the Hemshech of this. What I'm saying is Lifnei Tzimtzum. There's no Eiris. There's no Eser Eiris like Achar Tzimtzum. There's Eir Ein Sof. That Eir Ein Sof mitzad Alei Saratzim. There's Yechelis for Sfiris. I'm saying in Lifnei Tzimtzum it's all one Eir. It's not. We'll have to see the. What I'm saying is the Etzem is one Etzem. Eir Ein Sof Lifnei Tzimtzum is Gili Amakir Kameshu. So what's the Makir? The Makir is Ein Safe. The Makir is Ein Safe, but he's not limited to be Natzir of Ein Safe. If Pertzainei could be Keiche B'Gvul. So there it's one Indian Lifnei Tzimtzum. Achar Tzimtzum, which everything is Nizgal as a Tnua B'fnei Atzmei. So there's a Tnua of Bligvul. And then there's a different Tnua of Bligvul and Gvul. The MS says that the Bligvul and Gvul is Shershi from Keiche B'Gvul. And the Indian of Bligvul is Shershi from the Tnuas, the Eir Mitzad Atzmei. And Be'etzem it's one Indian. It's not two separate Inyanim.
That's also Nirgesh over there. Even L'achar Tzimtzum.
Through the fact that in Kav that Atzilus is Nirgesh Ma'ayin, so you have the Chibur of both Inyanim. So if it would be two separate Inyanim, it's a Tzeitar Zach. He's saying that that's the fact that Gvul is Keiche B'Gvul, that it's Adam Le'elyon, that's B'keshel Lezeh, that Be'etzem is Nirgesh, that it's Ein Safe. It's not a separate Inyanim. If in Kav it wasn't Nirgesh, that it's Ein Arich, the B'Gvul, so it's not Keiche B'Gvul. It's a Gvul. Hagan that because he says here that the Kav is he says the Mashal how does it express itself in Mitzvah so Elamis. So you have the Nisim Lamashal, which is Bligvul, which is Mevatel Welt, which is Amischashe with the Welt, and then you have Teva, the Tmidish Shunang Teva. So there's the Indian of Nitzchias, but not the Indian of Nitzchias, which is Shev Welt. A Nitzchias, which is that the Chukei Teva have a Nitzchias. that the gvul contains within it bli gvul. That's a different type of gvul. That's not a gvul which breaks chukim. That's not a bli gvul which breaks chukim. That's a bli gvul which is b'ter gvul. So be'emes, that phenomenon itself is mitzat kechei b'gvul.
That's a big Indian, a bigger uftu than this.
In a certain extent, the chelis shalei lahayr, the chibur, the kav, is a deeper Indian than the chelis
I mean,
lahayr
it's
itself.
Shabbateva is
Yeah,
I guess that's the bit.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but what we're saying, be'etzem, bli gvul and gvul are hafchim. And Ava became there be Yuchud. The Eris is Mister and Esesfiris. What I'm saying is, we're not saying that Sfiris are Be'erech Te'insof. We're saying that Sfiris are Shalei Be'erech. But Ava became Keiche B'Gvul. It's a different meaning. The fact that Keiche B'Gvul, and that's an expression of Insof, is not a stira that Sfiris are Be'en Arech Te'insof. Fakert, because Sfiris are Be'en Arech Te'insof, so the fact that they have Ein Sof and Sfiris is also an of Keiche, of expression of Ein Sof. But it's not a stira one to another. The Keiche B'Gvul, he's Taka B'Gvul. The Eir is Taka Mitzayr and Eses Sfiris. Wie man versteht jetzt, man versteht nicht, but the Eir ha-Ein Sof. There's Sfiris in Eir. It's not dealing with Kelim now. The Eir is Mitzayr and Eses Sfiris. And the Eir Be'etzem Hu says Ein Sof. And that Ein Sof is B'Gvul. We're not saying that there's a Bli Gvul which is Shelu Gvul. We're saying that in Chukei HaTeva have a Nitzchis. Means that within that the higher than Mitzias is the inner core of Mitzias. That's a different Indian. So we're not saying that he's beyond and he's Shelu Gvul. We're saying that he's the Gvul, the way the Gvul is the way the Bli Gvul is in the Gvul. But so that's always been a rechter Bli Gvul kvishu be'emes. But biyachadim zeh that's also in need of Ein Sof. That's a damalel. It's keiche Ein Sof. Versteht ein bisschen die Inyanim? I'm saying nothing becomes clear. I'm saying I don't know what you mean clear, but I'm not sure what you mean clear. The difference between cherries and potatoes are clear. You have to have minds in. I'm saying it's not a question of have minds in them. I'm saying I'm not sure what's the Nakud of Nachamo. What's the Shreikat?
The expression of Bli Gvul and Atzilus.
What's the problem with that?
What is it?
Which expression of Bli
Fact
Gvul?
that the Eibush is Keiche B'Bli Gvul. How's it expressed in Atzilus?
Who said it's expressed in Atzilus? Let's say it's not expressed in Atzilus.
Oh, I thought you were saying
That's the okay. So let's say it's not expressed in Atzilus. Okay, fine. Good. Well, ask a Pashto Shaila. He says V'chacham ayin timatzi, right? So what does that mean V'chacham ayin timatzi? You say there's a person is Mechadesh a Svara. So as you know that the Svara comes from the Keich HaMaskal. Certain times you have a Makar, so it's nirgash that this thing comes from a Makar. Sometimes it's not nirgash that it comes from a Makar. So where is it not nirgash? Natzilus is not nirgash. We're saying it. What does it mean by Chacham ayin timatzi? That the Chachma comes without any source. So Atzilus doesn't feel that it comes without any continuation to before. We're saying that Chacham ayin timatzi, that Atzilus doesn't have any continuation to before. So it's nirgash and Atzilus that the Gabi Ein Sof is Shalei Be'erech. Vedish Lemer. This Vedish Lemer, I'm saying each Yesh Lemer is same as you're saying Tolma. He brings the Shad at the beginning of the Maimer. What's Hatzilus is Galus Eiris Bekelim, let's say, or a Lakus and an Eifen of Tzir. There's Magodlo Masech Hashem, Rav Masech Hashem. There's the Gedula of a Lakus based in Skala in Chachmen, Bina, and Das, and Sof Kosof through that Solvas Spiris. It's in Skala in Haskalas Fasag of the Nivra, Havanas Fasagas and Nivraim, and Avira. So the question is, how much of a Lakus, so to speak, is Nizgala through this Inyan of a Lakus in Gvul, of a Lakus in the Tzir of Esesphiris? Pasha will say only Dargav Tzimtzum. That's the first thing he says. Adam Legabi Ak. Legabi, the way Lakus is after a Tzimtzum, after a Gvul, So Atzilus is through Atzilus and through Aveda of Havanas Vasagas Elokus, or whatever shaykhs to the keiches of a person, which is Mushish and Atzilus, you're able to reach to the Darg of Elokus, which is only after the Tzimtzum, not to the Eibusher. The way it is Mitzadatzmi is ain't safe. Tzimtzum, so then the Eibusher is Milo on his Blikvol, and he's able to relate to Nivraim. That's in Pashtus. And then when he says later, Yishleimar, that even Legabe Eir, Atzilus Damal Elyon, so what does that mean? That through the Aved of Avir, through the Avana Basagas Elokus, through the Aved of Keches Pnimim, and through Atzilus, Ein Sof is inschala through that inyan. So you're able to connect to the premise of Elokus, the Ein Sof Elokus through the Aved of Keches Pnimim, through Chabad v'Chagas, because the Ein Sof Koiche B'Gvul, the Ein Sof, even though the Mitzad Etzem who says Ein Sof, but because this is not limited to be Dafke and Eifen of Ligvul, he could also be in it. This which is Ein Sof could also be B'Gvul. And that's the shadish of Chabad v'Chagas. The fact that the Eibush is Nizgala, there's Eser Sfiris in the the is Nizgala in these Tanifanim. That means that the which is Mitzad Mehusay is Ein Sof, is Nizgala in Chabad v'Chagas. That's the thing Adam Alali, Keiche B'Gvul. But the fact that we say that it's Tzilis is Yesh Ma'ayin is Be'en Arech, that also brings out a Meir the Gazach, brings out the Ma'il of Atzilis. In other words, if an Atzilis wasn't Nirgash, that it's Be'en Arech Tetzmaka, if an Atzilis is only Nirgash, that you say a person has Seichel Amidis, and the only thing you say his Galus HaNefesh you have within Seichel Amidis is the Chelik HaNefesh which relates to Seichel Amidis, but the Pnimius HaNefesh, which is the Yan Seichel Amidis, that doesn't come to expression through Seichel Amidis. Then you say that an Atzilus is Nirgash, the Be'etzim, the Eibush himself is Be'en Arech Legamri. The fact that the Ein Sof and Tzadatzim is Be'en Arech Legamri, in Atzilus that's felt. That mitzad that on Le'idach, Chachma itself is Ma'ayin, has no Shaykhis B'chlal Tetzmakim. It's Shalei Be'erech Klal. The Ein Sof and Tzadatzim is Shalei Be'erech Klal. And B'yachad im Zeh, Keichei B'gvul. It's a different name. So he continued, when the Rebbe Shab continues here, that Yishleimar, that not only till now we say that the kav legabi the Hemshech is habligvol, the gabi the eir habligvol, the kav is be'en arech. And I wants to say that the kav legabi its shadish legabi its own shadish lifnei tzimtzum, the kav is be'en arech. But what's that going to bring out? That in Atzilus is not only nisgala the etzim inin of keiche b'gvol, but in Atzilus is nirgash the keiche b'gvol the way it is lifnei tzimtzum, and therefore in Atzilus is nirgash that this inin the way it is lifnei tzimtzum, the way elokus in nisgala in gvol is nothing legabi this Indian gufa the way it is bemis. That gufa is nirgish natzis. Yeah, okay, but that's let me say much data. Omni v'shleimar the gam legabi kavan Hemshech Meir in sof shulamaylim b'chinasak gam legabi b'chinazuy shaykh leimer that's b'chinas dam alali. 1 second, I'm reading the wrong. Yeah, here, v'edish leimer. Da kav agam shumei namoir mikol mekem. Means biyachat said that the kav is me'ein amor. How is it me'ein amor? Like I said before, because it's the chaylis shalei lahoir of the air. Is that since the air is mushish and the dargi v'chaylis and mechalei chaylis shabatzmas is that it should be an eifin of shalei lahoir. This is eir agvol. So and that's the kav, the sheir shakav. As agam shu me'ein amor mikom mekom be'ein arich gam legabi mikom mekom hu be'ein arich gam legabi b'chinas keich agvol shebein sof. Where's the Rebbe Shab say? Hagad the Kav is Mein Amor, and he's the gili of the Chelis versus Firis, the Sheir Shakvul Shlif Netzitz. Mikomakim he's be'ein arech gam legabi b'chinas agei chalbul shebein sof. Achochem b'chinas adam legabi akav, av b'chinas yesh ma'ayin legabi Sheir Shemakar akav. What's the pshat? What I'm saying is this is not lowering in a way. This is not trying to lower that tzilz. This is trying to bring out that the inyanim, the way they are lifnei at tzimtzum, is nirgash lachar tzimtzum. Till now I was saying that what's nirgash why is that still seshma'ayin? The eir haseiva which is meir and velt, but not the inyanim the way they are lifnei at tzimtzum is meir and velt. Here he's saying that the kav is meir namar, kav is megal the din of keich hagvol. Which keich hagvol? The way the keich hagvol is lifnei at tzimtzum. So and stakab ein arech to the kav the way it is lachar tzimtzum, and that guf is also meir. That's nirgash. Saying it's not saying Yiddish Shleimer that we're saying another beer how the kav is ishma'ayin. We're saying another beer the kav is ishma'ayin the kav is that darge. We're saying that the fact that the kav is not a continuation, not only it's not a continuation mitzad the hergesh hasev the Eibush is ain't safe. Even mitzad the Indian where the kav's Indian In Tznirik Hashem Atzilus, it's a new Inyan. It's a new phase. This Inyan Gufa is in a much higher eif than the way it is in Tzmar. Not a different Inyan. This Inyan Gufa of Keicha Bigvol, the way it is living at Tzimtzum Shalei Be'erach Klal. It's another Inyan. Yes, so to explain this, he goes through. You learned this inside? Not yet. He didn't learn it. Okay, so he gives a long arichas over here, but he gives akdama from a different Indian to. In order to explain this, we want to explain the yachas between. I'm saying I'll have to see later in the matter, but there's two inanim here. There's Sfiris and Eir and Sfiris and Kelim. There's the Eira Chachma and Eira Chesed, and then you have the Kliya Chachma Chesed. So this Maimir is explaining, he's all going according to the shitta that the Eir Mitzad Atzmi is Gvol, the Eir Mitzad Atzmi is Tzir. The Tzir doesn't come from the Kelim. The Eir Mitzad Atzmi is Eira Chesed Eira Gvora. Like he explains Barichas because the Eir is it's the Mitzad Yechedes Shalei Lahar, so you can take an Eir which is Ein Seif. Mitzad Yechedes Atzmi is the Eir which is Ein Seif, could be in a Tzir of Chachma V'Chesed. Not being established in Kelim, but the Eir could be in Izgal in a Tzir of Chachma V'Chesed. This Eir which is Ein Seif. That's and that the Eir Agvol, the Eir that's a Mitzir is a damele alien to the Esrish Lifnetzins. Good. And now he wants to say that it's Shalei Be'erach L'gabi Tzmakar. So he brings a dogma for. He's bringing a dogma for the. So v'yuven api mashas dvar v'kamacher. A dogma l'gabi different here. He brings a different inyan now. Dart neretzach v'kamacher l'gabi kelim datzilis. What is explained in another place? Do you do it in a kelim who are magbal l'se'er v'ashefa? Kelim is to be magbal there. So just to bring out this point. So what do you want? What's going to be the safe pasuk you want to bring up from the Solarichis? You have the gvul kelim are magbal there, but you have the way the keli is magbal there, and you have the result the way the becomes mugbal in the nivra. And the bein arich. So there he wants to explain the kav is the mitzir. The sheresh kav is the keach gvul shalifnei tzimtzum. The keach gvul shalifnei tzimtzum has this is bedugmas to the yachas in the kelim, which are the sheresh gvul of the nivra. And the gvul of the Nevraim, al deraz is the yachas of the Eir HaGvul, the Eir HaKav, the Gabi Cher Shemakar, the Chelis Vesesfiris. Let's get it in. But before that, you guys are Shilgu Shakvatari, here come a pratim. Huh? I'm just saying, Pashat the Chesh V'nafshat L'maim. So even if you just want to come in a Kelim Datzilis, you do it. In a Kelim Amag Baser Vashefa. Okay, the Rebbe Shidem brings the Shamu Vur Al Piashita. There's a Marmas which explaining the Indian that the Rebbe Shab is bringing here. It was in this year's Vasilagani, this. Ketel Gabi Kelim, not what the Rebbe Sham brings it for over here. Ketel Gabi Kelim. So Shama V'Rab Yeshid the Sherif Pchinas Pshitas, Pchinas Bligvol, not the shit that he's speaking about in this Maimer, that the Mitzad Atzmi as Esesfiris. Dort Netzach Legafi the shit that the is Pchinas Bligvol Mitzad Atzmi, and Kelim Pchinas Bligvol. So Dort Netz the Kelim are piled the Tzir in the It's meaning of Tzir. But the Shlema Shibur Gam Finish Gam Eres Esesfiris. He's going to explain here that even though the is of Esesfiris, but the Tzir, the way it is in the air, is not the same darga of Tzir the way it is in the Kelim. Okay, he's what do you need kelim for? According to this shitta, that the kav guf, the er guf is amshacha begvul, for er is that zilis in mechines esesfiris. So what's that from onkommen zu kelim? Es ist bekommen kemarim mechines er shemein amar, ve'enu mechines gvul mamish. Shecholiis is pashtusim mechines ein sof. So first of all, he says even though it's enough tziyur, but after became sof, because sof is er mein amar. In Yoni is not tziyur. In Yoni is that the mocker. The mocker, the etzem, the mocker of the moir, the etzem is nizgal and eifin of eser. It's not gather of gvul. It's not gvul. It's not enough gvul. Like he brought before, it's the emes etzem is ain't safe because in Yana is to be megal the mocker. It is gilei mocker, not shefa. It's the mocker should be nizgal. But because the mocker is yechelish leila higher, the mocker which is be'etzem ain't safe can be nizgal also in gvul. But it's not in. So in Yana is not gvul. In Yana is. An etzem being this gala also in Eifin Gvul. It's a different Indian. So it's mein amar. Ve'enim chines gvul mamish. And not only that, see the etzem in of, but it's takem is batel upoil. The techolis is pashtusim chines ein sof. Means since it's takem not chacham v'chesed, is that the mocker could also be an Eifin of chacham v'chesed. So takem the chacham v'chesed is ein sof. It's ein sof of chacham v'chesed, not chacham v'chesed. And maybe it's not chacham v'chesed mamish. Behandelt fischer eres misachtem im eren sof amatzel. Gemeimer I v'chayechad v'I v'gam echad. What's pshat eres misachtem? He's explaining here why that it's not in the chacham v'chesed of the air is not a gather of chachma v'chesed mamish. Yeah, this always needs a view. What's the pshat here? So mainly it's she'eres misachal meres v'amatzik. Ma'am b'yiv v'chayei echad v'yegam reichad chulu. Pirish chayoi hu amshachas eres me'atzmas ha'er. Shem yichod mamish ba'atzmas. That's the pshat yiv v'chayei. Iu is atzmas ha'matzel chayei v'chnes pashas ha'aras v'sfiris. That's chad mamish. That's the eres. That's the eres. That's this are chad mamish with the iu, with the etzma ha'matzel. Gam she'emer gam kin yiv gam reichad. The gam reichad nakelim gam kin chad. Mikolom ine dem yichod behem. Chim mechalik ve'en beis pam chad. Yes, so these mechalik here, even though we're dealing with the eris in the way the eris comes into the tzira versus firis, we're talking about eris the firis. But after became, since the eris are chad with ihu, because in Yonam is the mocker, it's mein amar, the Yonam is in Yonam is dveikus. That kol in Yonam is that the mocker is nisgalde, the esem is nisgalde. So inside that, it's not nirgash the tzir of chacham v'chesed.
Even if you say that it's Svidus in the air.
Yeah. It's in a chacham v'chesed mamish. First of all, it's in Safin Chesed. It's in Safin Chacham. But weiter sagt that the Chacham and Chesed Gufa are not the B'chinas Tzir Gomer. It's V'inyan who, so we say the Gabi Kelim, we're also saying Iya v'Gamrei Chad. Gamrei Hena Kelim. What's the pshat Iya v'Gamrei Chad? It means, even if it's at Kelim, in Yoni is not Chacham. In Yoni is that Al-Kus is also Chacham. That the Eibusher also has Chacham. It's not a gather of Chacham outside of the fact that the Eibusher also contains Chacham. Even the Kelim. But the Yichud of Eir is in a deeper Eif. That it attaches like this. You know, then he ne ha-Yichud Shalom ha-Bittel. Mashem Telam al-Eirin Sev ha-Matzel. V'yidu ha-Shesh Bittel Beis ha-Regis Aleph B'chinas Ayin ha-Bittel Gomer. Va-Beis B'chinas Yesh ha-Batel Ayin. I'm saying, when you say yes, I'm saying, you say, at the end of the day, in Yoni of the Eir is not Chacham v'Chesed. In Yoni of the Eir is that there's a mocker which is Ein Seif, which is Pasha B'Talas Abshitas. That's the Mehusi of the Eir. In Yoni of the Eir is not the Tzir of Chacham. Kalim is that mitzad the Shlemus of Alakus, there's also in Chacham v'Chesed. He says in Lashon, it's b'chinas yesh. It doesn't mean stam as a yesh batal ayin, a yesh which is not a lakus result to lakus. It means within a lakus gufa. But it's an Indian. You say when he says ayin a bittul gomer means there's no mitzias outside of that. There's no Indian outside of that. Kalim is not the etzim. It's not the pshitas etzim mamish. It's the fact that a lakus contains within itself also in yadam of chacham v'chesed. It's a different Indian of Kalim. That Elikus also contains within itself the Metzias of Chacham v'Chesed. Different Indian. Eris is not that Elikus is also Chacham or Elikus also has the Tzir of Chesed. Eris is the Gili HaMakir, which the Makir is not Chacham and not Chesed. The Makir is Zazachayin Elikus. The fact that it's in Zgal and a Tzir of Chacham v'Chesed, that's Nish Das is an Indian. His Indian is not Chacham v'Chesed. His Indian is the Gili HaMakir. The Chacham v'Chesed is I said how the Chacham v'Chesed was, but I'm just the Rebbe brings the mashal. This is not the same thing, but the Rebbe brings in the. I'm just saying what he wants to bring out when he says this verse. I'll just see the lashon here. B'chol tzarich ben eres the kelim. The eres imchinas ayin bittul gomer. What's this ayin bittul gomer? That his the bittul talakus is not a bittul which is connected to any tzir. It's not that it's not a bittul which is mitzuyer in the tzir of Chacham v'Chesed. There's only the makir. Not mother the mugul to the tzir of Chacham v'Chesed. Ayin bittul gomer. Ki be'eres nirgash b'chinas ha'ayin ha'amiti the eira matzel. Ulezeis ha'bittul shem b'chinas bittul gomer. Ulezeis b'chinas ha'yichud shalom b'chinas tachas ha'yichud v'eskalas b'chinas v'matzel. Ach edim b'chinas Chacham v'Chesed mamish. It's not nirgash. The im nemer shem b'chinas Chacham v'Chesed mamish. Edim b'chinas mutzim sis davar shem relav ki hu zeh. Ken echem b'chinas yichud atzmi ha'matzel lies b'chinas chad mamish. Lehecher reclaimed liyesh nirgash b'chinas ha'ayin ha'amiti. Harei b'chinas bittul gomer. B'chinas heder ha'mtzias the gomer. Ulezeis b'chinas yichud atzmi. Huh? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, but he's saying that, and not the pile. It's the way it is Mistairnes Spheres. But it's nirgash it's nirgash a bittel which is beyond spheres, which is beyond seer.
It's not. It's bottle. It's just that.
I'm saying
The tzir is bottle.
the seer is, and it's nirgash not so that it's the chachmas can Indian nicht. That the only Indian is the pshitas hamakar.
That's why we get bittul of air, bittul of kelim.
This is the bittel of air that he's saying. I'm saying kelim is that chachma is bottle talakus. That a lakus could also be understood by chachma. Let's say that a lakus is not limited; it could also be understood by chachma. But a lakus means that the fact that it's unlimited could also be understood. So, but understanding is an Indian. The fact that I'm saying is you have the always bring this. There brings in the difference between the seichel midis and nefesh bahamis and the seichel midis nefesh alakis. It's not the pshat that there's one say there's keiches and the nefesh alakis used it for yesterday's tanya. Today's tanya, yesterday. So it's not the pshat that there's one keiches and the nefesh alakis uses it for itself. Each it's not a pair, but it's not one nefesh. There's two separate tefashis, two different seichel midis. There's seichel midis in nefesh alakis. So what's the chilik? You have one if you say is the most of the nefesh alakis is connection to the Eibishter. This connection to the Eibishter is not only in a form of the chveis mesiras nefesh. It's also nimshach and esgale that this keshet halakus that this connection to this vegas halakus is also understood. Is also mizbat in a tnu of ava. It's not that there's a tnu of ava, and the nefesh alakis uses it for the sake of loving Hashem. There's the mahus of dvekas and keshet halakus. The inyan of connection to halakus is not a limited type of thing, so it contains mitzad its mahus all different forms of connection. So halakus, if there's a form of being, because this connection to the Eibishter is not a limited mahus, so it's connected in all realms. Versteht halakus, he has avas Hashem and yiras Hashem. Mashiach, you say when they get even if a yid takes his midas ava and he uses it for the Eibishter. Midas ava is a mitzvah outside of the Eibishter. He could use his midas ava for the Eibishter. Here we're not. In this doesn't have a midas ava which is used for that. In Yoni is dveikas talakus, which this connection to the Eibishter is expressed in many different ways. But it's all a result. It all stems from the nekudas hakesher, which is very strong. So the difference between there's malach michol, let's say, is kol in Yoni is avas Hashem. It's not a lakus anivra. Avas Hashem is not a lakus. Avas Hashem is the same way a table is created. The mitzvah of loving Hashem was created. Loving Hashem is not Hashem. That's a mitzvah of avas Hashem. Kelim Datzilis is not avas Hashem. Kelim Datzilis is that a lakus mitzad the shlemas of a lakus could also be mitzdayer in chachma. Lakus is also mitzdayer in chesed. It's not the mitzvah of ava. It's a lakus being nisgal in the form of chachma v'chesed. But there he calls it here. That's even when we speak about Atzilis to Kelim Datzilis. It's bittul yesh lying. The pile, what's in Yonim Kelim Datzilis? To bring out the Eibishter is beyond all in Yonim, or that aspect in a lakus which a lakus contains within itself, or could express itself through chachma. It's to bring out the lakus could express itself through chachma. Not the etzem hamatzal which is beyond chachma. That's Kelim. So it's saf kol saf. There's a mahus dvarma, which kol in Yoni is the mucker coming into this mahus dvarma. Lakus being understood. At air in Yoni is not lakus being. In Yoni is the dvekas to the mucker. This galus hamacker, which the gabi the matzal, the gabi the etzem hamatzal. Chachma v'asiyah is b'shavah mamish. Chachma v'asiyah is garnished. And that's the mitzvah in of there. That this which be'etzem hosei is ain't safe, he's also the premise of the mitzvahs. But what's the premise of mitzvahs? What's mitzvah? An which the guy with this tzir is garnished. So the fact that these two hafchim, that the mitzad atzmi is ain't safe and it's also in gvul, how does it come out? And on one it's chacham v'chesed, but it's b'chinas ayin a bittul gomer. Means it's nirgash there that his inyan is not to be this.
Even in Kelim.
He's not there.
Even in
In not Kelim. Kelim is different. Kelim is in Yoni is chacham v'chesed. Here in Yoni is the matzah is mushlim chacham v'chesed. I'm saying the be'etzem the kav is is a chibur of two opposite points. It's the Eira Ein Sof, the Gvul. So in every aspect, the Gvul is never, there's always in the Tzir is Negesh that Inyani is not Tzir. Inyani is a bit which is beyond the Tzir of Chacham. So it's Eini Pinchas Chacham B'Chesed Mamish. Huh? Yeah, but it's not so pashut, is it? Doesn't, yeah, it's not so pashut, is it? In a ball of mamish when it says it's mamish. Coaching in a ball of Achashin, Eris in a ball of mamish when it says, where's the savior? Herchlev the guy should know him for saying a meeting from his bittle gomer, from his head and sees legamri. Listen, yeah. Well, listen, means the degree of bittle is far beyond the tzir. It's from his bittle gomer. And it's heder am tzias legamri. It's negesh that there's no chachma and no chesed. Heder am tzias legamri. Means calling yanim is the makir. But we're not saying that there's no chachma and chesed. That it's negesh pshitis. It's negesh blikvul. And this yichud atzmi, this yichud gomer, is not shelo the chachma and chesed. So any of tzir mamish. Now the Rebbe brings the gapi chassidus, the difference between chassidus and nigla. That nigla is that Yevchei Echad. Torah is miyuchad with Ein Seif. But nigla is the Ein Seif lepeil is malubish in a lavush. Mashik and Chassidus in the lavush is nikr begali that Inyani is not the lavush. Inyani is just a way to relate to the Ein Seif. It's nigish and says that we're not. They say someone speaking a certain Indian sichli in words. He's being malbish the nekud in atheist. That no one, the Indian is not atheist. The aces are just emtsai to be magish the inyan that he's trying to bring out. The nekudah he's trying to say. It's not about the words. It's not about the aces. So you have a eifin of kalim where the inyan is mugbal, is modud to the kalim where he's in. He's limited according to the kalim, or his inyan is not. He's using this as a language to bring out something else. Then it's nirgash in the kalim. Inyani is not chachma. In the chachma, the way it is in the air, the hergish is Inyani is not. Inyani is the matzah which is Ein Seif B'Tachlis. What's chachma? This matzah which is Ein Seif B'Tachlis is not limited to be dafka in a form of bligvul. It can also be in a form of gvul. But it's Inyani is not gvul over here. Inyani is the Ein Seif. Should be nergash in the gvul. It's Inyani of air. This he brought this as a.
Is chachma or chesed?
I'm saying this is a bigger risk about in other places. We're just, but the Nekudah wants to bring out here that even according to the shitta that holds that the Eris, even according to the shitta we're dealing with this mimer, that the Eris are mitzuyah after became, we need kelim. So he wants. This is all brought to the Chagid. He wants to bring out the dugma. The same yachas of the Akav Lagabi its makir is the dugmas to the kelim Lagabi the nevraim. The gvul, the way it is in the nevraim, the Gabi the makir agvul, which is the kelim, is the same enarech Lagabi the kav, Lagabi the makir akav. That's what he wants to bring it there. So he brings from another place in Chassidus, which explains the yachas of kelim to the gvul, which is never from the kelim. That's the reason of the place in Chassidus. So he just brings dugma ledavar. That he says that even though we're dealing with this, those Maimarim speak about the Musag Kelev and Yanim Gvul, but we're dealing with in those Maimarim that the area is Bligvul, and the Gvul and the Tzir comes from Kelev. So them Zakta that even though in this Hemshech he's explaining all this in according to Shitta, which shows that the area in Yanim is at Elikus Bigvul, but after became the Gvul, the way it is in air is not the same type of Gvul as Gvul Mamish.
Always in Kelev.
The Gvul, the way it is in Kelev is not the same yet. It's a whole different Indian. So the Gabi, even when we speak about Eretz Mitziyarim, so it's this the Tzir is a bittul. It's the bittul of the Tzir. I'm saying this. I heard Mashla once heard from that you say that there's, let's say there's Kabbalah Sale, for example, and then there's the Tnu of Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem, different type of Tzirim of Tnuos of Hashem. You have someone that's going to be explaining the mile of Kabbalah Sale. That has anything to do with the Tnu of Kabbalah Sale itself. He's not acing here the Tnu of Kabbalah Sale. it's seichel looking for the mile in Kabbalah Sel. So seichel is he's speaking about the topic of Kabbalah Sel, but it's not the tnu of Kabbalah Sel at all. It's a tnu of explaining and it's a tnu of seichel, not a tnu of Kabbalah Sel. You can speak about Kabbalah Sel, so you can say the seichel is malubish in Kabbalah Sel. He's not malubish in the tnu of being machni himself to the Eibishter. He's in the tnu of seichel now. But what inin is he explaining, or what inin is he exploring? He's exploring the topic of Kabbalah Sel. That's not good. So there's chacham v'chesed the way it is in Kalim. In Yonim is taka chacham v'chesed. That's the way it is in Kalim. Eidis in Yonim is the bittul to the matzel. In Yonim is the Gilei Amakar. Gilei Amakar, the founder Pella were able to express it through chacham v'chesed. But it's not. We're not eis in chacham v'chesed. It's not b'chinas tzir mamish. In Yoni is the hergish hamakar, the hergish hapshitas, not chacham v'chesed. Yeah, I can understand the.
This is in the R, we're speaking in the R.
In the air. Yeah, there's serious in the air.
So you think Adar I that what?
No, this is Adar I. This is not. No, this is just a Maimer Amuzgar. No, this is a Maimer Amuzgar. Take Maimer Amuzgar. He wants to explain Kalim. He brought this Adar I. He wants to be Kav. The Hektam is he brings Kalim. At der man that Kalim is in Yonim Lahagbel. But it's doch not in Yonim Lahagbel. According to the Bavar Adar I, even according to you explaining in this Maimer, Kalim in Yonim Lahagbel. This is Adar I and Adar I. He says, "Me'achar she'es in Mugbola Mamish Chon Ses Firis Mamish, Mikosh Kin she'en Mugbola Mamish Chosim Yispashtusa." That's provided the B'chinas Ein Sof. The Meile see need Kalim Lahagbel. His Amr Be'em is Gamim Neymar she'eres in B'chinas Eses Firis Chochem V'Chesed. Sounds like this Kamei Fanim. The Eres Mitzayar this Kamei Fanim. This is the whole beginning of Ayin Beis. A big arich is there. You speak about Eres Mitziyarim. There's Eres Mitziyarim and Tzir Mamish. He brings. What's the pshat that Tzir, the way it is in air, is not Tzir Gomer. So he brings different dogmais for this. Mekom ain't safely spashtusa. Shlosim Gemara the whole gilei air behechel shiyeh bepratim. Mekom kim kol pratim b'chinas ein sof. Meir is that still is a gam shin ages pratim mekom kim spashtusa b'chinas ein sof. Mashiach halineinenu the Gabi wants to bring this mashal. What's negate to what he wants to bring out from this mashal here? The Rosh Hashanah says it's not negate the aspect in Kalim which are gerim tzir. That's not negate in this context. What's negate is spashtusin b'chinas ein sof. V'Kalim magbilam liyasam shchasam b'chinas bol. We'll see later the fact that he wants to bring the yachas of the nivra to the keli. He wants to bring from the fact that the keli is magbel, the limits the amshachos air. That instead of the air being nimshach, but if shal ein save, it should be nimshach, but if shal gvul. But the fact that the air is that the keli is mitzayer the air, that nekud is not negate. So linyanenu, however way you learn the musik of air is firis, whether it's eses firis chacham v'chesed mamish, or it's enim chinas chacham v'chesed mamish, and the kelim are the ones which cause the tzir gomor. But l'saf kol saf, what's negate? That's the l'kula amma. The air is the ein saf the way it is in chacham. The chacham is ein saf. It's ein saf in chacham. So the chacham is ein saf. Like you say, what's the house in this bata in Evrahim? That it's ein saf. The chukei teva the way it's ein saf in chukei teva. Chukei teva which are blig vol, are nitzchim. So there is the eir akav. That's chachma which is naifan of ein saf. And the kelim are magbal that it shouldn't be in the spashas of ein saf. That's the nekuda that's. Blig pipshute it's ein saf. Blig vol. That the fact that the Eidis are in Eifen of Ein Sof, which is over Mitzvah Yichad Matzilin, Lehin Am Shem Chnes Gulam Bidam, and Kain Hashem Chnes Yizal Spashusin, is almost the Yichad Vad Vegas Vim Keren. Lefia should there is Pshutim moving in Bipshitas. Sheres Him Bligvo, Kelim Magbilim, Seres Him. That's moving is Spashusin. Okay. This is somebody saying here, like, according if you say that the Eidis Am Shem Chnes Gulam Bidam, so the fact that they're Ein Sof is Mitzvah Vegas of the Makar. Mash'inkin mitzad mohusam the shaychas the gvul. Okay, means this can't be funny here. This is bringing this as a not being mefared, but within this b'chlal there's a machlikus in Kabbalah whether the whole inyan tzir starts in kelim or there's tzir in air. Within this shitta, which Chassidus explains that there's tzir within air, there's also kamei fanim. And this man is speaking about that the air guf is mitzayir. When in that gufa there's kamei fanim, and he says You see, you see, in a certain way, the lowest level is that it's Eris, and there's Tzir Gomer in the Eris, the way he says here. And the fact that the Eris ain't safe is mitzad, not mitzad because the Gvul is not a full Gvul. It's mitzad the Dvekas to the Makir. Not that in Yani is ain't safe. Okay, but that's a different idea. But Akalpan and Vinish Dvi, what he wants to this end. V'nimtzad ikar gbolas ha'er hu hadei akeli. That's what he's bringing. Oh, so here he brings that a mashal of the. Well, what the time is it now? We should start this mashal a little bit, yeah. But the mentioning ongi b'learn and the mashal. That's all right.
It's going to go on to.
Huh?
It's going to go back to his name Kolano.
Nachamo.
He's going to finish the Vedic.
Yeah, I mean, kolana yuven al deras in a kav. So he brings a mashal and then he goes, yeah. And then. Huh? No, let's start. So this akapanim, this would have to remember the Hemshech What's negeh here? This adichas here that it's not event is bringing the chora the eres hamitzir. What do you need kelim for? And there's at the end of the day, it says the maskana is v'nimtzad ikar gbolas ha'er hu hadei akeli. That's what we have to maskana sadar. Why you need to have killed the hakbol sa'er, so that could become a time. That's the maskana. So Isser Zakar Azay. V'hine lamato b'chinas keach ha'chayis alaki sheb'nevraim. Yeah, this chay every single nivra is chayis alaki. Anuraim shu b'chinas gvul v'kitzva mamish. Yeah, it's a pashat, a limit of the degree of energy that exists within every single nivra. Sharei kola keichu shvay b'mhus ha'nevraim. Kamei. Brings a dogma. Shemayim v'aretz. Shenikzav v'nikba mehusa. Yeah, there's a certain there's a certain midah v'shir, there's a certain you say size. How big and how powerful, how great the Shemayim v'aretz are. Hers the rekim halach takshana, evi kol rekiachul. Now, if the nivra gufa is mugbal, is b'midah v'shir, so gamakeach hamislabish b'seichem la'achiesim, nimsha v'em m'chinas agbolavit simsum g'decha yusum levad. זה מוסכים מכל החקרים, שיש שיהיה כרך בלתי מוגבל, מלובש בגוף הכלי שבגבול. You understand that you can't, a gvul can't contain bli gvul. The same way a cup, which is this big, cannot contain water beyond the measure of this cup. So a limited thing can't contain something which it cannot contain. The same way a foot can't contain seichel. It's not a keli for it. It could contain the ability to dance, because it's a keli for that skill. So it could be expressed in the foot. So there's a certain degree of chayis which the foot is able to contain, because it's susceptible to it. It's keli for it. Gvul is not a keli for bli gvul. Can't contain bli gvul. So Shemayim v'aretz are mugbalim. So how much degree of alakus is able to be in Izgala and Nimshach in the Metzias of Shemayim v'aretz? A darga which is gvul too. Pashat, a limited amount of energy could be in the slavish in Shemayim v'aretz. Unlimited chayis which is ain't safe, that can't be in Shemayim v'aretz. Shemayim v'aretz are limited. If they're limited, what could they contain? A chayis mukbalis.
Can't even contain a gvul which is bigger than it also.
Takaze. He brings this before this, I think. Shemayim v'aretz chin kol nevra mukbalim behecher shechayis mukbalim slavish sich mo gam kim chin ezbol. Because I'm making Bernich Magdamas Akadamit based with Elishini, called Kea, she Matzim is Pashit Beguf. Selem Mizgala Beguf. That's something else. Shun is Slapshus. It means Dafka Kea, which is Nirgash, Begoli in the Guf. There's an Gidimash and Sabj Pnimis, Gidim and Malak Zilkalam. I can say in Bergol case, it brings it later also. It's different. You have, you could have Ain't Safe, but it can't be Nirgash. It can't be Meir Begoli in the Nivra. What the Nivra is able to sense and what could be conscious of Begoli, so only what it's susceptible, only what's a keli to. So bli gvul which has no shaykhs the gvul is not the gvul doesn't contain it. Yeah, there's in of ein sof behelim. It brings it later also. It's a different Indian. Yeah, Hachodesh is there in Gilash Zav Shepnimi. Kikokesh in Matzim Espashit Beguf for Bal Tachlis. Li is Hagesh Bal Tachlis. Yeah. In other words, we're dealing with a chayis hamalubish. We mean to say that this thing contains that. You say the mayach contains seichel. We're not saying that they were saying the fact that the Eibusher is Ein Seif is our Panaminei. So because the Eibusher is Ein Seif, he's everywhere. It's a different Indian. We're saying, but that the mind possesses it. The Me'ach possesses it. The Me'ach doesn't possess Ein Seif. He cannot possess Ein Seif. The fact that the Eibusher is everywhere, that's from his point of view. That's a different Indian. That's cannot be Gilui in the Seichel. Because it's beyond Gilui. It's the Ein Sof Kamei Shu, which the Seichel is not a Keli for that. That's another Indian. But we're saying the Chayes Eliki, which is Meir and Melubish, he's enclosed in the Nivra. The Nivra possesses this Chayes. The Nivra is able to be Margish, this Chayes. It's able to be, it's a part of its being. It's a part of its, it's a part of its life. So if the Nivra is Gvul, the Chayes, which is Melubish with Primiyusai, which the Nivra contains, is also going to be Gvul. Yeah. That's Ein Zach. Batachlis. Oh. Now, the Imkain, what's the Shadish of this Gvul? Kelim Datzilis. What's Magbal there? The Erem Sedasim is Ein Seif. What's Magbal there? Kelim. That's what he says before. Kelim are Chachma v'Chesed. That's Metzayer there. And Kelim are Chachma v'Chesed in an Eifen of Mido Gvul, not an Eifen of Ein Seif Lis Pashtusa. Kaviyachol a certain degree of Chachma v'Chesed. So through the Kelim you have the Agbalas. Then Frek, so Ibaz, the Chor of the Havana is that the Kelim Agbalah, you have the Mashal Menegeh to a person. You have the Kayachariya, the way it is in the Nefesh, that it's not shaykhs to experience the Siyah of Vergashmi. Through it. Some Slavish in the Ayin, it's able to see the Vergashmi. So the Ayin is Magbal the Kayach. So the Ayin is limited. The Ayin is a Davar Gashmi, let's say. And the Mele, it's able to be Malbish and is able to be Magbal, the Kayach. So see, the fact that the air comes in Agbal in Evrahim is because the Kalim is Magbal there. That means that the Kalim are Nanim of Gvul. And when the air is Slavish in the Kalim, the Kalim limits there. Oh, so then fragt im Kain, the Kalim, that's still im Nemer, Shem Chnes Gvul Mamish, Ich Mas Slavish in the air, Shem Chnes Ein Sof Bli Gvul. Me'acha Sheyaf Shekayach Bli Gvul, is Slavish Bli Gvul. I mean, if the Kalim are Gvul, so how is the air Bli Gvul Maslavish in the Kalim? Me'acha Sheyaf Shekayach Bli Gvul, is Slavish Bli Gvul. Ken Gama Kalim, that's still im Nemer, Shem Gan Kemei Gvul de Bia, Chas V'Shalom, Ich Mas Slavish Ein Sof Bli Mamish. So it's going to continue to explain that Be'em Acha'ininu, the Be'em is Ava Pishakeli, who are Magbala Sa'ir, but Sinish Gvul. The Kelim are not Gvul. It's going to be even though they're the Makar Gvul of Bia. They're the Makar Gvul of Bia. But the Gvul, the way it is in Kelim, is Shalei Be'erach to the Gvul, the way it is in Bia. And it's Bli Gvul, Legabi Gvul. So there's he wants to say Legabi the Kav and the Makar Kav. Even though the Shadish of the Gvul of the Kav is the Keach HaGvul Shalifnet Simsum, Dal Leis HaRatzin, but the Yachas to the Kav, the Leis HaRatzin is Bli Gvul. Same way you say when you get to the Kelim, and when you get to the Chayes, the Beis Mislubish and the Nevrayim, that even though the Kelim are the Makar HaGvul, but it's Shalei Be'erach Klal, Al Derech Zel the Kav, Legabi the Makar HaKav. Lifnet Simsum. And this brings out the whole Nishkin Pash Tevart. Because Tolnai was saying that the Adam Elyon, Atzilus Adam Elyon, because Atzilus is Eris Mitzuyarim. So it's Megal the Keach HaGvul. But it's not, and the Yesh Ma'ayin, why is Atzilus Yesh Ma'ayin? Legabi the Eretz of Aseviv. But Atzilus is, but in Yana, the way they are in Lifnat Simsum, that's not Meir Lachrat Simsum. Of them Zakta that even in Atzilus is Nirgash, the Indian the way it is Lifnat Simsum. That's from that Dart Nishtam to Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin, even Legabi the Keich HaGvul. Because Legabi the Gvul, the way it is Lifnat Simsum Shalei Be'erach. Okay, but that will see the what's that? Mr. Hipzach on another few minutes. Yeah, he said that even in Atzilus is Nirgash, even the Gvul, the way it is Lifnat Simsum, there's also Nirgash in Atzilus. So Mele, how is it Meir? That the Eris, the way they are in Atzilus, is Shalei Be'erach Klal, Legabi the mitzvahs of this Indian, the way it is in Atzilus, the way it is Lifnat Simsum. That was nice. Maybe so. Yeah, that's the motion that he wants to bring. Yeah. He says, "Achayini the bemis afish hakeli magbos in a reklal gvul achayis l'kishim gvul in gvul shebikam datzilus. Hagam she kodesh neim b'shem echad u'b'loshen gvul. It's an underinian. B'yeis ke gvul d'achayis an Abraham gvul mamish. Shesh li seif etichla pashat achayis mugbelas. Mahalach takshana v'chadem. The shis half shnei aviyama, and then the world. Again, the guy's mind is a different story. But every nivra has a certain achayis, but has into the geidel with the midah v'shir the nivra. Aval kelim datzilis ein lem seif. Ve'ein lem ketz klal. Li yesh im b'chinas elukus mamish. Harim gam kim b'chinas ein seif. He's not speaking in Yonim is to be megala the fact that the Eibusher is ain't say. But Elokus is not mugbal. Elokus is the emes. It's the truth. And if it's the truth, it's higher than midah v'shir and zman amakim. Achmash aye bezeh. What's pshat the tzibul achum? That's the hate to Adam Maz bezeh. Achmash magbal sa'er. He gives two biyum. This is mafar the pratis. And al derech zeh he wants to say that that's the gabi rakav. The two Yonim he's going to explain here. So we'll have to go through first the Indian, what's the pshat, the gabi kelim and the makar, and then the dugmet to
Kav is like the way the air is mislavish and biyah.
Yeah. Kav la'acharat simsum is the way the air is mislavish and biyah. That's a mashal. He's not saying it's a dugma.
And makar kav.
It's a dugma. He's not saying there's the same thing. He's saying the same way the gvul, the way it is in Atzilus, is not gvul mamish. Al derazeh, the gvul, the way it is different at simsum, is not a gather of gvul mamish. And it's begeder bli gvul legabi gvul.
And kelim shabbat tzilus is like keiche b'gvul and or is that the tzimtzum?
He's not dealing with kelim yet. He's dealing with air now. He's not dealing with kelim. With Adam and Yishmael, we're dealing with air.
Kelim in the mashal.
He's bringing a mashal to explain something else. He wants to explain here. Which nimshal of kelim? I don't understand what you're saying.
We're giving a mashal, right?
We're using an inyan of kelim to explain erakav, the yachas of erakav to its market. We're dealing now Adam al-Elin in air. We're not discussing now Adam al-Elin kelim to the makar kelim. We're dealing now there's eres mitziyarim. The eres mitziyarim are Adam al-Elin to the eres the way they are lifnei simsim. And he wants to say that even the makar of tzir of the eres are from the erakav, from the yechelis versus eres lifnei simsim. But the yachas of the erakav to the sheirish is shalei be'erach. What's the dugma? So he brings a dugma for kelim to the chayes to be established in the Nevrah. That's the dugma to that inyan.
The kelim is the mashal for the yechelis for.
Ken sagen also, yeah. You can say it like that. Yeah. The next Maimer happens to be in the Maimer of Adam Kiyeh. That's where he starts explaining the inyan of Adam al-El in Yishmael and the Gabi the kelim. That's the next Maimer. That's the different inyan. But he is speaking about all the tzir, the way it is in air. You understand what I'm saying? The next time to the Naya Indian that the MS even Kalim, we're not dealing with Tzir the way it is in Kalim. We're dealing with all the Indian Hagilui the way it's Mizgal in the Tzir, not a gather of Chachma of Chesed of Kalim. We'll have to see later the next time what the gather of I'm saying. That's another Indian. We'll have to see.
There's two polis is going to say now that's parallel to the
exactly. The Yachas of the Yecheles. No, I don't know. No, we'll see what the dugma is there. We're going to see. He's explaining two pratim why the kelim is not gvul mamish. We'll have to see how that relates to the yechelis versus hers. Yeah, we'll have to see. Okay, it's not mamish the same. I'm saying it's not the same. We'll have to see. But that's mamish.
So when we're saying, he's saying.
The guy with the kelim is mamish the next man. This is nothing.
So here he's saying that gabi sheirish hakav is like yesh.
That's good. That's the Vedish Shleimer.
That's what he's saying over here.
Yeah, the Vedish Shleimer. But I'm saying it's not just lowering Atzilus. In a certain way, this brings out a Maila, which he didn't speak about Tolma.
Even in Atzilus,
Then Atzilus, yeah, it's this. The fact that Atzilus is yesh ma'ayin. I mean, the fact that Atzilus is ein arech. That's misad lifnei simsum. That means that lifnei simsum is nirgash lachat simsum. See, if someone feels like he's a big mitzias, so it's not meir behim what the real godless is. If someone knows what real godless is, he knows he's not going to be considering himself anything major. So Atzilus is margish that his inyan is shalei be'erach klal. He's yesh ma'ayin. He has no yachas at all to his mother. Where does that come from? Because it's nirgash the emes the way it is in Atzilus, the way it is in lifnei tzimtzum. When he said before that it says yesh ma'ayin, the gabi the ernetz of aseviv, so the gabi the erabligbo the way it's meir lachar tzimtzum. But here he's saying that even that Atzilus is meir the emes the way it is lifnei tzimtzum. I mean, Atzilus is nirgash that even the keicha b'gvul, what I'm saying is not the truth of the inyan mamish. Okay, but that's I'm saying a taich. We'll see the way he explains it. But Zambia is the smazbir. Why not? Yeah, I'm saying for everybody that's saying the nicht. In Bevolnish is not Hachodesh. I'm not forcing anyone. But that's if you already learned it. It's.
It shows shows also the, it shows the two sides of the R inside, that its side is three.
Yeah, that's because it's nirgash ein erech. There's seviv and it's nirgash ein erech.
In Atzilus,
Yeah.
the
Ein erech. The Gabi the Erab Digvul. You'll tell me if you will not get weiter, is the vierte Sache. I'm not.
It's good to go weiter, it's good also to have a new thing.
There's a lot of good things. Okay, so verschiedene Sachen.
I'm not saying we have to go
Gewiss
weiter.
verstanden.